if you could just speak to a couple ways to cope after experiencing something as traumatic as that would be great.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is there is no right or wrong way to cope. I mean, there are toxic kind of coping mechanisms, but it takes baby steps. Sometimes it takes a toxic barrier to kind of jump over that hurdle to get the real help you need. And it is hard because sometimes it does have to get worse to get better. But to kind of keep it from getting to that point, there are a lot of things people can do. And the most important thing is to talk to someone, whether it's yourself in a journal. Journaling helped me a lot. Talking to a trusted adult, talking to your friends, reaching out to support groups for survivors. It is just so important to talk to people. Along with that, therapy. It's really hard to get into therapy, especially if you've never done it before. And having that sort of shame and guilt that a lot of survivors feel, it's hard to go to therapy and say, this was not my fault, because it is no one's fault. And therapy is a way for people to realize that, but it's really hard to get into that, but it is so incredibly worth it. And for some extreme cases of anxiety, depression, and PTSD, some therapists also provide service animals, which have helped a lot of survivors. And you can find videos of specific sexual assault survivor dogs, and they are phenomenal. Like, they will circle around women when men come by and they know their owner is uncomfortable. They are phenomenally trained animals. And then for mental issues, again, I kind of mentioned it before, but medication can be prescribed for some of these things. And then at the end of this all, it's important to accept that the assault happened, but you don't have to let it define your life. You should never ignore it. It's a part of who you are, but it does not have to depict how you live your life. And other than that, in terms of coping, it's just finding what works best for you. You want to keep your physical health up if you can, which means sleeping, eating enough, exercising if you can. But it's just all about what feels best for you and doing what is best for your mental health.
So Maddie mentioned that it's important in the aftermath of the situation to start to reach out for help. Have you found in your own personal experience that that is a difficult thing to do?
Yeah, so I think what really stood out to me, like what Maddie was saying, was that the first step is just to acknowledge that it happened. And I think oftentimes there's a lot of shame when you're sexually assaulted or when you're harassed or coerced into anything. It feels like it shouldn't have happened to you, and you really feel like you're blaming yourself because it's just such an interpersonal violence. Like it's so much different than anything else. And so I would say for me, I think like I was like working through it and working through the aftermath without really fully acknowledging it first. And so I think once I had acknowledged it, and that was really in the past couple months and like working with our team, that I was able to, ask for help when I needed it. And it's at least like once a week when our team, one person in the group chat is saying, like, this is what's going on in my life, I just need to take some time. And I think creating that open space, which is like really what we're all about, is just creating a space to talk about this and to be ourselves and to overcome it, has been really incredible. And I think I've learned how to ask for help for the first time in my life in these past couple months.